welcome to the Creators and Experts podcast. As usual, my name's Denali, and today I have Imaad on, and we are going to talk about how he got started with content creation and his different kind of interests around that. He is a software developer and content creator on multiple platforms. So, without further ado, welcome.
Hey Denali, thanks for the introduction and everything like that. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. So, as usual, I think the best way to just jump right in is how did you get started creating content?
Yeah, so it's a funny story because I never like my intention when I first started was never to get into content or do it like long term. So I started content about like I said almost 2 years ago, and I first started off with just like coding slash software engineering content. And it was just like YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reel videos, TikTok videos, and I would like write blog article posts on Medium. And my intention was to like just help me become a better candidate and kind of stand myself out from like everybody else, because like everybody, I wasn't like the smartest person when it came to like technical aspects and everything like that when it came to like coding and software engineering. So I needed a way to like stand out and like give me like something extra to talk about, like interviews that maybe other candidates might not have, that are better than me like academically and technically wise. um so yeah, I just started posting videos, teaching people like the basics of like coding and everything like that, going more in depth when it came to certain topics, going over what I was learning, my interview prep process, and like just things that like just interest me about like software engineering and computer science. So that's how I started off. And it was just like posting videos and like just short form content basically on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and just like blog articles on Medium. And slowly like it just picked up from there, right? Like I started getting like followers and everything like that. Lots of people were asking me questions. I was getting DMs and everything. Oh, can you help me out? I have a question about this. Oh, I'm in this career path, but I don't like it. I want to transition to coding and everything like that. And because like after I got a job, I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop doing this. But like just like the overwhelming amount of people that are sending me emails and like DMs and everything like that, I was like, I can't just ignore these people, right? So then yeah, I just kept like responding and everything like that. And like if I was on the platform, might as well just keep creating videos and everything. So I would say I was like just making coding related content on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram for about my first, I say about 10 months or so. Then after that, I kind of transitioned into tech, which is like tech and lifestyle, which is like what I really am passionate about, my interest. And this is like tech reviews, product recommendations, unboxings, comparisons, things of that type of sort, right? So I say about like almost a year in, then I transition into tech. Not to say that I don't make any coding or software engineering videos. It's just like I probably do it like once or twice a week. But right now, like my main focus when it comes to like my content and everything like that, it's just like around tech, specifically like Apple products and accessories and everything like that. And where I only stick to coding related content is on LinkedIn and Medium. So Medium is my blog, and over there I just go over different topics of coding, software engineering, computer science. And LinkedIn is just like my longer Medium posts. I kind of break each post down to 2 to 3 multiple LinkedIn posts, and I'll just post that throughout the week. So that's kind of like my story about getting into content. It was by accident, but I'm glad I stuck to it and just stuck to it and got to where it is right now. And and I love it, right? So I'm just excited to keep going, keep growing, and just helping people along the way. Yeah.
Yeah. And your content's really interesting. I do find that transition a little bit different, and I kind of want to dig into it. So going from what you thought might get you a job to what interests you a little more, how
Yeah.
has that transition been as far as, using, you know, this kind of content creation to either supplement your income, grow your followers, and views pretty much? How has that transition into more your personal interests affected everything?
Yeah. So like with coding, I think for me, because like when it came to just coding content, like I just realized like there's only so much I could do, right? Like when it comes to because like you have to keep in mind like people that are scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, they're not like senior level engineers and stuff like that. So you don't really have to go like you don't have to go in like depth concepts and everything like that. If you would need to do that, you do it like on a full 10 to 15 minute YouTube video or something like that. So after the 10 month mark, I was just like thinking like, okay, I've made these videos over and over and over again. There is no need for me to continue. And I always had this passion about tech. Like I always grew up watching content creators, tech YouTube channels and everything like that, and already had this audience here growing slowly on like multiple platforms, just transition into there. So that's what made me stop doing coding, not entirely, but just limiting to like one or two posts per week. That way, like the people are coming in for that coding specific content, they still have something to see. But just transition to what I'm like super passionate about, everything like that, which is tech and everything. And when it comes to tech, how would I say this? I mean, it is my passion, everything like that, and I really enjoy it. So that's what kept me to stick with it and everything, because this is just like what I like to do and everything. And with tech, I feel like you're not limited to something, because there's always new products coming out. There's always new accessories. Everybody throughout the world, like throughout your audience and everything like that, they're all using different tech products. Like not everybody uses a MacBook, for example, right? People are using different type of like laptops, different type of headphones and everything like that. So with tech and another thing that interests me is just like the vast amount of content like you can just create with it and everything. I have a Notion template just about ideas, and it's like it's insane, right? Just the amount of stuff you could do with like tech. And that's why like I transitioned to tech, aside from just like the like it being my like true passion, something I really want to do, is just like the amount of content you can create with it and just help more people. Right. So the coding is just very limited, right? Like people ask you like the same questions over and over again, and then you just answer those and everything. But with tech, like everybody uses different types of products, everybody has a different cell phone. They're all professional students, like different type of like work level and everything. So it's the amount of content you can create when it comes to tech. It's just more, and that's what just pursued my interest in that, and just go with just the tech route.
Right. And it sounds like you've also increased your possible audience as well, because from the people that want to code to people that use tech, I mean, a lot
Right.
of people want to code, but
Mhm.
just about everyone uses tech to
Right.
some degree or another.
Right.
And then one follow-up question, is this now your primary source of income, content creation?
Content creation, no, it's not. Still my full-time software engineering job. That's my main source of income right now. But obviously, like when I started, another thing that kept me going, I mean, obviously like money is the motivation to some extent, right? Like once you see like money coming in, or like your peers like just talking about like finances and the money they're making and everything like that, it just like gives you that motivation and stuff. But to answer your question, no, content creation isn't my full source of income yet. It doesn't even like crack like 50% or anything like that. But it is like consistent income coming in, which I never had before, right? Which is always great, right? And I do see the potential and everything like that of it growing monthly, by every month and every year and stuff. And just like my fellow content creators and stuff like that, that I've communicated with and everything, and when we have this conversation about finances and stuff, I just see like 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 the possibilities of like the amount of money you can make doing this and everything, working with brand deals, these platforms that pay you directly and everything like that, affiliate links, creating your own products, right? That's another cool thing that can come with an audience and everything, them purchasing that. So I just see all that, and like obviously like the goal is for it to replace my full-time job and be my sole source of income and everything. But as of right now, it's not, but it is growing, and I know for sure like it will get there. That's the goal. And that's another thing that just excites me, right? To just like slowly work on like something you like enjoy and everything, and help people along the way, and then make a living out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a perfect response. And one of the reasons I really like doing this podcast is you catch people at kind of all different stages
Right.
of, growing their content creation, business at that point. And then some people, their goal is, only to have some supplemental and to keep their day job. Some people it's, see what happened. And some people, they're building to this goal where they can, devote all their energy to that content creation. So I'm going to take a little bit of a turn here,
Mhm.
and I wanted to ask you, what about, software and tech do you find so interesting? And maybe to um to help kind of direct my question a little bit, I saw one of your posts was about, between law, medicine, and software development, this is why you should choose software development. So I was just wondering, because this is your expertise, maybe you could speak to that a little bit.
Mhm. Yeah, so about like software engineering and tech, I think like the main reason why I like this field is just like the barrier to entry, right? I like one of my quotes from that blog post is like anybody from like any age, any background, any education level, no matter where they are in the world and stuff like that, right? Anybody can get into software development and engineering, right? You just need a laptop and a Wi-Fi connection and like a good like guide to like follow. Like over time and practice and everything like that, doing the right things, obviously following the right roadmap and everything, you can become a software engineer, right? You can apply for jobs and you can get a job, right? And you don't have to necessarily go to like a coding boot camp or like get a 4-year college degree and stuff like that, right? And I think software engineering, coding, whatever, it's like the only or one of the few career paths. Well, I think it's the only career path where you don't have to go to like your like normal type of like education system and make a really good income coming out of it, right? And you don't have to do it for 4 years, right? Like the stories of people doing it in like 12 months or 6 to 8 months and stuff like that, right? It's all about like how much time and effort you can put into it. But it is possible for you to get a good job and a great paying job with the flexibility and the hours that you would like. Whereas when in that blog post, I was comparing it to law and like becoming a doctor, which are like very prestigious positions, right? Like becoming a lawyer, become a doctor, and specializing in like whatever, right? But you have to keep in mind, like you have to go to your normal schooling, right? Law, medical school, 4 years of undergrad, then for law, 4 years is law school, but med school, you have 4 years of med school, then residency, and then if you want to specialize, you have to go through there, right? So the amount of time and schooling you have to put in before you get to your end goal, it's a long time, right? Like 4 to 12 to 15 years, right? So by the time you're actually like working, like you're like, say if you started when you're like 18, fresh out of high school, like you'd be for law, like at least like 27, 28, but then for medicine, especially for specializing, right? 30 plus, right? And then even when you start working, then you have to keep in mind like all the student loan debt like you have, right? Not everybody's fortunate enough to pay everything cash and out of pocket. So yeah, you're making a really good salary and everything, but a good chunk of that salary is like also to provide for your living, your family, and then also to start paying off these student loans. And then with software engineering, if you do the self-taught route, don't go the education route or anything like that. You come out with no loans, nothing like that. You even if you're not making like say like the 150 $200,000 salary, even if you start off with something like 75 to 80, you have no loans, you have nothing like that, right? So all you're paying for is just living, and then you have savings. So if you took 2 years to like learn how to code by yourself, and say you started when you were 20 and you finished when you're 22 and you got a job and your starting salary was like 85K, compared to somebody, one of your friends say that went to med school and then he finished like when he was 35, you have 13 years of time. We're saying if you just stuck with making $85,000, you saved probably like 30K of that. So 30 times 13, that's like a huge chunk of cash like you saved up already, and you already have a head start over your friend who finished at 35, but then he still has all this other stuff to pay for and everything like that. So yeah, that's one of the cool things about software engineering, and that I think, right? It's like um you could get into it really really fast and people think it's so hard, but and don't get me wrong, it is hard, like the interview process, just like getting rejected, sending emails, networking, everything like that's not easy by any means. But if you have the right path and the right guideline and everything like that and you stick to it, I feel like anyone can do it within like a reasonable time between like 12 months to 24 months, which like you can start your career like really really fast compared to like other people in other professions and stuff like that. Even people who are just doing a 4-year CS degree, like you will start 2 years before them, right? Because even in a CS degree, like you're still learning things that are technically like a waste of time and stuff like that, and stuff that you would never use on the job, or that would even help you on the interviews and stuff like that. So you just self-teaching yourself and everything, you can like save tons of time by doing that and getting a head start over everybody. Yeah.
I think that's a phenomenal answer, and I really like the accessibility of it. That
Mhm.
that leads really well into a question I like to ask, and this is a little bit of a borrowed question, um, but what advice? And I saw that you'd gone to college a couple of years ago. What advice would you give to someone, possibly yourself back then, that was smart, driven, entering college, and was getting ready for whatever you'd call the real world? So, what advice would you give them? What advice should they ignore?
Yeah. So advice that I would give them is, say you're going to college, like, I'll give an example for like my major, right? Computer science, right? So going to college, I thought that I would learn everything I would need in this computer science degree, and they would be ready for me to get a job, and I'll be ready like right out of college, right? And that's completely false because not everything you learn in a CS degree, even in some of the best CS programs, right? Like not everything you learn is something that would be applied on the job and stuff like that, like even for the interviews and things like that. And also during a CS degree, you'll be learning things that you might not have interest in, right? So for example, my interest was design and front-end development. I didn't take too many classes in my CS curriculum that were anywhere associated with that, right? Nothing had to do with like designing or creating like web apps and UIs and all that type of stuff. So I had to do a lot of self-teaching and everything. So my advice to people is if you're going the computer science route, computer science, yes, it's very important. It'll teach you the fundamentals and everything, but a lot of things that you learn in this degree is not something that you use on the job. So do a little bit of research beforehand and look into like what aspect of software engineering do you want to get into, right? That could be front end development, back end development, mobile. These days it's AI and machine learning, right? There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of different paths you can. Software engineering is very broad, right? There's a lot of things you can get into in software engineering. So look into that beforehand and compare it to like what is being taught in your degree plan, right? And then see what's not being offered, and then you have like so many free resources, right? Just like YouTube itself, right? Just to search up and then watch YouTube, watch tutorials and everything like that. Just pick up these skills and everything like that on your own, right? Like you have 4 years to do it, right? So you have 4 years to pick up these extra skills and everything like that. And once your senior year comes and you're ready for graduation, I mean before that, once you start applying for jobs and everything like that, you'd be like an overall well candidate and you'll know what you want. So you know what jobs to apply to, you know what type of interviews to study for and prep for and everything like that. So hopefully when you do graduate, like you'll have a job and a career path that you're happy and you're willing to progress in. So
Yeah, that
yeah. Mhm.
that makes awesome sense. And I think that that's really common across, everything. It's, you go to college and it's, oh, I'll just get out and have a job. And there's a step missing there. And I feel like a lot of people, I know I definitely didn't quite grasp that transition period.
Right.
That you can, like you said, make a lot shorter by studying and learning the right things while you're there.
Mhm.
Um, to turn a little bit back towards the content side,
Yeah.
what is the biggest hurdle you've had to kind of overcome, since you jumped into this?
Yeah. So I think the biggest hurdle I've had is just like comparing myself to others, right? Because like once you create content, I mean there's always somebody that's, I mean you always have like these inspirations and stuff like that, and you just want to get to like their level like as fast as possible, right? But you have to, it's very, I mean it's very hard to like remember that these guys have been doing it for like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, like much longer than you have and everything. So that's like my biggest hurdle is just like comparing myself to like other people. Like, oh my God, he posted that video. It got like so much engagement, everything like that, so many positive comments and everything. Like his editing style is so cool. The way he speaks is so nice and everything like that. Things like that. But you just have to keep in mind, like that person, he was in that same spot as me like a couple years back, and there was somebody he was looking up to be like, oh my God, like I wish I could be like him, right? So that's my biggest hurdle. And then I just have to keep always like remember like, hey, like this stuff takes time. Like over time, as you like make more videos, engage with more people, get more feedback, you'll learn how to improve and be better. And then there'll be a time where you'll get to that point where somebody's looking at you and be like, oh, I wish I could be like Imaad. Like his editing style is so nice, or like the way he communicates with people and everything like that's great. And I want to be like that. Um, so yeah, that's like it's just, but I think like that's like an hurdle with like with anybody in any type of field and stuff, right? Like you always compare yourself with people that are better than you, which is good and bad. But people just look at the negative aspects and the positive aspects from it, and I think that's just something I need to be better at. Just look at um like the positives from it and see what I can pick from these guys and like apply it into the content I create.
Right. It's kind of a stage of continuous improvement rather
Right.
than getting to one milestone or another. So
Yeah.
maybe for someone that is currently looking up to the content you create right now, or might be in a couple years and they're going to listen to this, what has been your most helpful strategy? So that can be, maybe your blog post on Medium, maybe something else. Just what what have you found is kind of that lever that's just been the most helpful to pull?
Yeah, so I think the easiest the easiest lever to pull, I guess, is at least something I do is so whenever I'm scrolling to these social media apps, and this is the advice I would give to other people, when you're scrolling through and like going through people's content, don't consume that content as entertainment. Consume it as like an idea or like inspiration, right? And that's what I use to like get ideas and inspired for like my blog articles or like my videos and stuff like that. I just scroll through for like a couple of minutes, like TikTok and Instagram, for example, scroll through for like 10 to 15 minutes in the morning. And it's not for like entertainment. Like I'm not there to get like my dopamine hit and just be like, oh, like this is awesome stuff and everything. Like I'm actually like studying like the videos these people are posting, right? I'm studying, reading the comments, see what their audience is like for their videos and stuff and why they got the engagement and everything like that that they get like that they did and how I can apply that to like my next video and stuff. So for anybody that's getting started, I say for like the first week or 2 weeks, when you scroll through these apps and stuff, don't scroll through like the consumer excuse me the consumer mindset. Just look at it as a form of inspiration and ideas. Just be like, oh, like these are the videos I like to watch and stuff when they come up my feed, and that just gets me in a like loophole of like scrolling over and over again. Study and look at like what about that content has you on the app for like an hour or 2 hours and makes you waste all that time when you look at the clock and like, oh my, I was on TikTok at 1 o'clock. Now it's three, right? What happened, right? So these content creators and their content, they're doing something right for you to be on the app that long. Look at that and study it and just take notes and everything like that before you start. And then once you're ready to start, like you have like things to like apply to like in your videos and everything. And another thing I would like to add on that is like I get a lot of comments and just and like real life too. Like a lot of my friends and family members, they ask too, oh, like I don't know how to start. And I think the easiest way to start creating content is that they're like, oh, like I don't have like a nice desk setup, or I don't have, there's nothing interesting in my life that people would like to see or like care to like watch and stuff. But I think everybody's life, there's something interesting they do, like in everybody's life, right? Everybody does something interesting that somebody's willing to watch and like they'll enjoy. So I tell everybody, hey, just like record like day in the life videos, right? Day in the life videos are hot no matter what type of platform you're on, right? Short form content, long form content, wherever, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, wherever you go, those day in the life videos, right? Like as a student, as a doctor, as a nurse, as an engineer, etc., right? Whatever it is, like those videos just do well, right? Not to say like the first video you post is just going to get like a million views and stuff, but that's like a good starting point, right? Because their question is, oh, how do I start, right? So this is how you start. Just record like your everyday, like your morning routine, like how do you get to work, what are you eating, what are you working on, things like that, your gym routine, stuff like that, right? And you may think that it's like, oh, like this is so boring, I do this every day. Like the person on the other side of the screen, like they may not, right? So I tell that to everybody. Like this is the easiest way to start, and then once you get like a decent following from that, then you can do that. Then you can transition to whatever you're passionate about. Some of my friends like fashion, some like cars, some like tech, right? So in these day in the life videos, like sprinkle like a little bit of it in there, right, to keep people interested, right? Like so if you have like a nice desk setup, put a couple shots of your desk, right? So that way when you get like 4 or 5, 6,000 followers, you can make like desk setup related videos and everything. Keep people coming back and engage for that. If you like cars, if you have a nice car, right, just take a couple shots of your car, the interior outside and stuff, and just keep that in your day in the life videos and keep people coming to see, oh, like what car does he have, or does he have more of these type of cars and stuff. And then once you get like a couple of thousand followers and stuff like that, you could do like a car review or can just transition to like car related content and stuff. So yeah, so those are like the two advices to have. The easiest way to start is start a day in the life video. It's, even if you think your life is boring, I promise you to like other people on the other end of the screen, it might not be, right? And number two, when you're scrolling through social media, don't just use it for like entertainment, use it for like inspiration ideas. Like study these videos and everything like that, study the comments and everything, write down notes, and then apply that to your videos.
That's wonderful and super tactical advice, which I always really like because, other creators, a lot of times, they've heard a lot of the mantras of, just start by starting. And I think having that video to shoot, because everyone has a certain life.
Yeah,
And I think that being able to actually have that video to shoot is super tactical and helpful.
yeah,
Similar to take like conscious consumption, also very tactical because a lot of times people get caught up with the like general advice you get when you Google how to start content creating. And that, well, helpful. I feel at times if it would have worked, then it would have already worked, you know? I really like that advice. So I do want to be respectful of your time. So I'm going to give you a chance here maybe to talk a little bit about your Kahana Hub and any other kind of next projects that you're getting into.
Right. Yeah. So right now I have one Kahana hub that's available. So and I kind of want to dedicate this Kahana hub to like my intro to like content creation was with software engineering. So this Kahana hub is like it's like the fastest way to become a software engineer. And inside the hub, it basically gives you a roadmap to follow with step-by-step guides of things to learn and everything like that to get yourself into software engineering, specifically front-end engineering, as fast as possible. So I give you like learning resources, both free and paid options, so you can take a look through both and see which one would be best for you. And I also give like a time frame for each section as well to give you just like an idea of how much time you should spend on learning this, assuming you have like at least 2 to 4 hours per day to focus on learning how to code and everything. And then as a bonus in that hub as well, I also have like a software engineering resume template, which is really cool for customers just to like fill out their information because it's all laid out, like all the layout and everything is there. So you don't have to create like a resume from scratch because I know that can be pretty stressful. At least it was for me as well. So all you have to do in there is just like just fill out your information. And throughout that resume template, I also have like helpful information and tips and tricks for you to follow when it comes to like adding your experience section and like your projects and education and everything like that. Just helpful tips for you to follow. So it's very easy for you. All you have to do is plug and play. So that's the hub I have like right now. Future hub projects are all going to be they're mostly going to be related to like tech and stuff. So right now, a couple of projects I'm working on is I'm in the process of creating my own wallpapers, right? So wallpapers for your iPhone, iPad, MacBook, and things like that. So that hub is going to be dedicated to like how my thought processes and ideas and inspirations I get to create like these own wallpapers, applications I use to create these wallpapers, where I publish them online to be purchased, and all that type of stuff. And then I'll also have another project where I go over like the perfect way to create like an aesthetic desk setup, right? Because I get a lot of comments about that. Everybody wants to have like the cleanest and nicest looking workspace and everything, super minimal and all that. So that'll be coming out soon as well, where I just like give ideas of like cable management, products to recommend, how to find that perfect theme, what to look for, how to work with like the space you got, things like that, right? Yeah, so there's a couple of projects like I have coming up. So yeah, fun stuff. Really excited to be working on them and everything and sharing it with everybody.
Well, that's great. And I think that brings us to a perfect close here. Is there anything else you want to add?
Anything else I want to add? Yeah, you guys can check me out on my social media accounts, right? Like at Imaad Uddin, on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I also have a blog for everybody who's interested in like software engineering specific contents on Medium. And then you guys can follow me on LinkedIn too for like short form software engineering coding advice. But yeah, definitely check me out. People always ask like why should people check you out? So how I would answer that is like you guys have an opportunity to see a content creator start from scratch and kind of work his way up, right? So like I'm not Marcus Brownlee or anything like that with like 15, 20 million subscribers, right? So like I'm in the beginning of my journey, and many of you guys haven't seen Marcus Brownlee's journey from the beginning. Not to say I will become Marcus Brownlee like 10 years from now, but I know for sure I will be bigger than what I am right now. So if you want to follow me along my journey, see how just like an average software engineer decided to switch into content and grow his accounts from there, definitely check me out. I promise you I'll get better over time and create like really cool content for you guys to check out.
Awesome. And your content's awesome right now. So it's only
Appreciate it.
gonna improve and get even better. So I will
Yeah.
link all of that down in the description for this video, a link to your Kahana Hub as well. And thank you so much for chatting with me.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Nolly. I appreciate your time. It's fun talking to you.